At Subway, start your day the flavorful way by adding new guacamole to your favorite breakfast sandwich. Perfectly made with a hint of jalapeno, our guacamole turns up the flavor to your breakfast. Try it today on a hot and toasty egg, white, and cheese. Subway, eat fresh.
The BS Report is a free-flowing conversation that occasionally touches on mature subjects. The BS Report. The BS Report with Bill Simmons.
Welcome to the BS Report, here with Lake Bell, one of the stars of $1 Million, a first-time podcast guest.
Yes, thank you.
Full disclosure in the beginning, I am an executive producer on the movie. So we're gonna.
You're biased?
Yeah, I'm biased. And
you're
like
in
the movie. I really like the movie.
This is me. I'm going to interview you.
Yeah,
I like the movie. And so how did you get involved?
Well, they kind of wrote me into it, and I liked the script, and it just kind of one thing led to another.
I do have a genuine question for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Did you know about the story? Because this $1 Million Arm is based on a true story. So you knew it.
I knew the story. I remember reading the story and thinking it would be a good documentary.
Yeah. Okay.
And never dawned on me that it would actually be a real movie. I remember at one point it was going to be a documentary.
I believe that because the guys that everyone that it's based on are fantastic people, and there's natural sort of comedy even within the real characters. So, but that's and a lot of heart, obviously. But yeah, I think I thought it translated beautifully to the big screen.
Well, we should mention we saw it last night with the red carpet premiere.
Yeah.
On Hollywood Boulevard, which was really cool.
It was El Capitan.
It's fun to see it at a nice big theater with people who might actually get the jokes and.
Yeah, I think that particular theater too is sort of like you've arrived in Hollywood, kid. You know, it's like we're on Hollywood Boulevard and we're gonna watch a picture. You know, it's a real kind of movie premiere.
It really was. Some executives. We had a green carpet instead of a red carpet.
Yes, we did. It was sort of like AstroTurf-ish.
There was a little baseball throw, all this stuff.
Oh, yeah. I didn't see that. Did you see that?
I didn't see it either. I was having a pre-movie drink. I was nervous for some reason.
You were nervous. I mean,
you must have been nervous, too. You hadn't even seen it.
I hadn't seen it. Well, you
can admit that you hadn't seen it.
No, I had seen parts of it. I hadn't seen it.
Dailies and stuff, but not.
Yeah, I had
you hadn't seen the finished cut with the music.
Exactly. I had seen versions of it, but without the final.
The Bruce Springsteen of India doing the music.
By the way,
that's apparently who he is.
How beautiful is the music?
He has 20 million Facebook followers.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh my
I forget
gosh.
his name because I'm blanking, but he is like the most popular.
You should get his name.
Yeah, you should probably know his name. I knew his name, and I'm just blanking.
Because it's fantastic.
Because I was up late last night celebrating the red carpet premiere.
Were you drinking beforehand?
I'm drinking water. I'm trying to hydrate.
All right. No, but it was worth it. It was really vibrant. I think also the fact that people brought their families because it's a family movie.
It's a family movie. It's a PG.
It's amazing to be a part of a PG movie because. It's all good. Anyone can see it.
I think cutting out the sex scene with you and him was the right move.
In the end, I think it made a lot of sense. It kind of was arbitrary. It was kind of gratuitous.
The masks were a little weird. They freaked out the test audiences.
Yeah, the masks were not great for Disney.
So you and him knew each other.
That was a joke.
Before the movie.
Yes, we did know each other for years, and we had there had been other projects where we sort of thought, oh, maybe we'll do this together, and then it never really panned out. And then this, lo and behold, we both get to do kind of a PG, really sweet, earnest movie, which was both very new territory for both of us. So,
you guys actually had chemistry, which I was asking him. He said he was on the podcast last week. He said it was actually easier to have chemistry with somebody he knew. Yeah,
because I think you already have it's already built in. Your friendship is already there. So even if we're playing people who don't know each other very well, there's a natural sort of musicality to the way we interact, and so you can kind of bounce, and if there is a little bit of improv, then you kind of know each other's rhythms and whatnot.
Was this the first movie you did since you directed your own movie?
Was it? Yes, perhaps it was.
Was that weird to direct a movie and then be directed in the next movie, and all of a sudden you're not in charge anymore and you're just a pawn in the game again?
It's actually great.
Yeah.
I mean, I think what's more interesting about this movie, when I look at it, I realized I started shooting it 2 days after getting married.
Oh.
So it was like I was in New Orleans being like, I do, and the most emotional day
I remember
of my
this
life.
story, actually. There was almost a conflict, right, with one of the shoot days, and
totally.
like it was a big panic whether you could get there or not.
Absolutely. Well, because I was, it was a big day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Life stuff. So then, and then I started shooting like 2 days after. So,
wow. No honeymoon.
We postponed our honeymoon.
Postponed.
Yeah. But yes. So, but I think being on a set and not being the director or the writer or the whatever, wearing those hats feels really nice. I ended up doing 3 movies in a row. So I did $1 Million Arm and then 2 other movies as an actor for hire. And it feels like a delight. I mean, I learn about filmmaking via what I do as an actor, because being in the trenches on sets is where you kind of learn how to make movies. I mean, you get, respectfully ask questions, observe, and be a sponge for information. I mean, that's how I learned how to make movies.
Do you make choices based on like, oh, it'd be cool to work for that director, or I'll learn stuff, or is it because of the script, or what are the reasons you make a movie?
I mean, you mean as an actor?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it's an amalgamation of all those things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel very lucky that I've been on many different types of movies, because sometimes, a sports movie, I've never been a part of something like that. Now, so it means I don't know how to shoot the scenes that involve live action sports. So that was really interesting to see where they put the cameras, how many cameras they have, how to sort of deal with the technicality of that. Same then right after I went and did like an action movie in Thailand, thriller action. And it's like, okay, let's see how we're going to do this. How do we get a helicopter to fly into the top of a roof?
Yeah.
Okay, you learn more about, again, the craft and the physicality of how that would manifest. So,
how long did you spend getting your movie that you wrote and directed and starred in that I'm blanking on the name? Because In a World.
Yeah.
How long did you spend on that?
Door to door is about like 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah, which is actually not that bad for independent film.
So walk me through it. So you write the script.
Or
you have the idea.
Well, there's the inception of the idea, and then sort of the writing of the script takes about like 2 years for me, 2.5 years.
On and off?
On and off, yeah. Not like stuck in a room for 2 years, but on and off. Because obviously
So you had an idea, you start plugging away at it.
Yeah.
You write scenes here and there.
Just so you know, I mean, like, it's not like out of nowhere that I wrote a script. I had been writing for many years, and then I had written another script, co-wrote this script with this woman, and we went down this path of it being made, and it was really fantastic, and then it all fell apart. And so that
doesn't sound like Hollywood at all.
Exactly.
Wow.
I know. So I was kind of off it all. I was like, screw this.
Right.
Are you allowed to curse on here?
Absolutely.
Oh, you are? Okay. So
Hell
I was
yeah.
like, this. I had a bad taste in my mouth about the whole thing, and then after I let it, sort of the stink of that experience simmer, then I was excited about this other idea that I wanted to write on my own, and so that's where it started.
What made you want to do an entire movie about voiceover people?
I'm obsessed with voiceover. I am utterly the voice and accents and dialects, and even just the muscles that make up that mechanism have always been really something that has enthralled me. And it started early. I remember, being a kid and people being like, "Hey, you got a good ear. You can you can do accents and things." And I thought, "Oh, that's good."
Were you the kid who did weird accents in the back row in class?
Basically, yeah.
Oh, but then it paid off.
Yeah, it paid off. And I started to notice, just as I went to drama school in England, and like we studied accents and dialects, and I mean that was just.
So you can do an English accent.
I mean, yeah, we can do all kinds of things, but it's not just an English accent.
Yeah.
I started to learn the nuance of different
Cockney
regions. Well, Cockney, even in itself, there's a myriad of different kinds of sort of lower, sort of blue collar British accents that are fantastic and super vibrant and punchy. But yeah, so that's a thrill for me. So to the point where it became obsessive, and so then being in this town, I remember hearing a different sound and trends in voice.
Yeah.
Which we all there's in radio. There's a ton of really interesting kind of like ways to talk. There's so many and then of course, for women, there's the sexy baby vocal virus. I don't know if have you seen the movie yet? The In a World movie?
Hell yeah.
Okay, so in that
I pay-per-viewed the out of that movie.
Okay, all right, thank you, by the way.
It was really good.
Cha-ching. No
I liked
money.
it.
Thank you.
We even paid the premium pay-per-view price that when it's still kind of sort of in the theater, so they charge a little more for it. It was like $7.99.
Premium PP?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't see any of that money, but thank you.
You don't see any of it? No, now I feel bad.
No, don't feel bad.
Team Simmons liked it.
You can buy me a tea later.
My wife stayed awake the whole time. It was great.
Did she?
Yeah, it was good.
Okay,
You got the seal of approval from
kids,
my awake wife. Yeah, my awake wife.
Mm-hmm. Awake wife. That sounds like a movie.
Wait, on voiceovers, Adam Carolla and I have always been fascinated by the guy. You might not be old enough. I'm not going to ask you how old you are because I'm not supposed
I'm 35. I'm totally not worried about that.
So in ABC when we were growing up, they had this guy in the late 70s named Ernie Anderson.
I do know.
Charlie's Angels, Fantasy Island, Vegas.
Totally.
And it'd always be like for Vegas.
Can you do a
but it'd be like, someone's killing showgirls, and Dan's got to find out. So all of a sudden these started. We used to joke about these when I wrote for Kimmel's show, but YouTube didn't exist. Then YouTube starts, and about 3 years ago, they started putting these up, and we were like delighted, like Ernie Anderson. But the rub is he's P.T. Anderson's dad. The guy who did Boogie Nights and The Master.
Yes.
Ernie Anderson is his dad, and he was this iconic voiceover guy. I still think he's the number one voiceover guy. Him and the NFL Films guy, John Facenda.
Well, I mean that's a certain.
It's my personal opinion. I'm not saying I'm right.
Totally, and those guys are. What's cool about Ernie is that he's got the croak, like that.
He just sounded like he'd finished 5 Marlboro Reds, and they're like, Ernie, we forgot we do this one. We're just like, all right, I'll do it. And
exactly.
Then he just did it.
That's really hard to do too, but that takes a lot of control because obviously, just for sustainability, it's muscle. These are muscles, and there's to kind of continue to do that. But Don LaFontaine, who I really admire, and Hal Douglas, who recently passed away, these are guys who had this incredible, omniscient kind of, that iconic voice that we'd always hear in trailers. And the truth is they never pushed very hard at all. It wasn't loud. It wasn't about volume, but it was, it was almost like as if you're whispering in someone's ear, about Terminator 2, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So
that's why Ernie Anderson, he'd always, like, when he did the Love Boat ones, he'd add, like, a little romantic Ernie Anderson.
Oh, okay. A little sauce.
And big day for Gopher. Like, draw it out a little bit.
A little smile, a little sauce in the voice. Yeah.
It's a good movie, though. I really liked it. In a World.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it was good.
You're like, I'm surprised.
No, it was good. Well, when you're pay-per-viewing stuff, it's always like you roll the dice and be like, hey, Lake Bell, I like Lake Bell.
Right.
I kind of like the voiceover world. Click. But you don't really know.
It's not, it's not exclusively about the voiceover world.
No,
thankfully,
it's about
a father-daughter competition.
Family. Yeah, it's a family thing. Did you feel like the voiceover community was like, finally somebody has tapped into our world?
And I'm with them. I'm like, I have been trying to be a part of your team for so long. I had to write a whole goddamn movie just to be a part. I feel like maybe can I get an audition or something for something?
We'll let you do voiceovers for Grantland if you want.
Listen, I will do it.
Coming up on the BS Report.
Coming up on the BS Report.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
There's different ways.
We can
try gravel, whatever.
Yeah, maybe you get a car ad out of it.
I would love that. Listen, I'm a car girl.
Ham has one.
Ham's
got like Mercedes or something.
Oh, he's got one of the great voices of the business.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it just naturally comes out. I mean, this guy, I'll buy whatever he's selling.
I would say that's one of the best jobs.
It is so great. You wear
show
sweatpants.
Up. Yeah, you got water and be like, and go. All right, now read this.
I like that water was like really.
Hey, you get a water and you're just ready to go.
You're like, you have like all this fancy, like water.
Bottled water. Smart water, maybe, if you're lucky.
I was thinking sweatpants. I mean, you just show up. You don't have.
Oh, you just got hot.
I'm hot now. I'm pregnant.
Yeah, you're pregnant.
I'm with child.
You're in a good pregnancy stage.
Like while we're talking right now, I'm making a human.
You're in the pregnancy stage where somebody kind of notices the bump, but they don't want to ask you about it because what if you're not pregnant? Then it's super awkward.
I'm hoping for the moment where I can just be, in that situation because my husband and I really want it to happen so that
you can pretend you're not pregnant.
Well, yeah, so that someone says, "Oh, when do you do?" And I'd be like, "No, I'm not pregnant. I'm just fat."
Yeah, I'm just out of shape.
And just sort of like deadpan, and just crickets. And they're like, "Oh, just kidding. I am pregnant," and they're just like crying. That's a horrible thing to do to someone.
No, it's good. You can do it once to somebody you don't really like that much.
Once for a goof.
And that's it. So what happened? So are you out of commission now? As you?
No, I'm writing.
So you're writing and grooming this child that's going to eventually emerge.
No, I mean I'm writing, and then I've got 3 different projects I'm working on, which is great, and thank God I can write and make a human at the same time. And then in June I shoot season 6 of Children's Hospital, which is an Adult Swim show that I do. Rob Corddry, David Wayne. It's sort of out of the sick mind of Rob Corddry, and we've won 2 Emmys. It's a teeny tiny show, but it's a little small, weird, dark, demented.
Yeah, you're always
comedy.
up to stuff. You're up to all kinds of things.
Yeah, I mean, you should check out Children's Hospital because I feel like the people who say, "Oh, I love you in Children's Hospital," I'm like, okay, good. So you're the good kind of demented. It's almost like a litmus test.
But you stayed on the East Coast because you grew up in New York, and then you just kind of stayed there. I'm surprised you never came out here.
I did.
Time, or did you?
No, I did.
And then you left?
Yes. Sorry, that was a non sequitur because I thought, because we were talking about Children's Hospital, which is an actual show.
No, I know.
Not
but I was
like a charity.
I was talking. Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
I just segued.
No, I love it, and now I'm quick enough. I just want to call it out, because sometimes pregnancy brain.
Yeah.
No, yes, I grew up on the East Coast, but I lived here for over 10 years, and then just moved back to Brooklyn.
What are your lasting impressions of the greater Los Angeles area?
I don't miss the traffic, but I do miss the terrain.
New York has traffic, by the way.
It does.
The traffic thing really bothers me because I've never not been in traffic in New York.
In New York? Well, I guess because you have the subway, though. You have a subway system
and cabs.
that if you don't want, you have the option to not deal with traffic in New York because subways are in this town for whatever reason. People just they don't lock onto the subway in the same way that they do in New York.
I remember why I did that segue.
Oh, why?
Well, because I was going to talk about Jacoby's favorite show, How to Make It in America.
Oh,
which is one of the great tragedies of his life.
So you were like
one
TV
night.
shows.
Well, New York.
New York.
We were talking about your career. You were on this show that was set in New York.
How to Make It in America.
About these kids who ironically were trying to make it in America.
They were. It's almost ironic, but it's literally the name of the show.
But that's actually what they're trying to do. And as they were trying to make it, HBO decided they didn't want to see how they were going to make it, and now we'll never know.
You know what? I think they end up making the jeans.
You spoiled it.
It spoiled it. I'm like, they make the jeans.
What were their names? What were the characters' names?
Cam, Ben.
So Cam and Ben, you think they made the jeans?
Yeah,
you think they have very successful jeans right now?
Super successful.
I believe them too.
Wearing them.
But that's why I felt cheated because I stuck with the show for 2 years and was waiting for the season when they made it. But then it went to their heads. And
it's how to almost make it in America.
Yeah, it's how to be on the cusp of making it in America. They should have renamed it.
Was the initial title of the show, but it was just a little bit clunky. So
we'll never know. There'll never be a movie. You'll never do. I mean, we have the internet. You have Yahoo and Netflix. All these people are throwing money around. We can't just have 4 more episodes and figure out what happened.
Who are the people throwing the money around?
Yahoo's throwing around money like barrels of it.
They give people like water.
They literally chuck
bottled
money.
Water.
They take money, they throw it, they give you bottled water.
Aggressive. It's just
they give Dasani, Smart Water, whatever you want, whatever kind of water you want.
Smart Water. All right,
yeah,
now
Smart
we're talking.
Water, all that stuff. But
right.
yeah, I mean, we should, in this day and age, we should be able to figure this out.
I think you're right, but I think that there's a lot of shows that are great that kind of, for whatever reason, there's financial reasons or political reasons within a network why they don't end up going forward. And then all of a sudden people who are really into the show, aka fans, are like, what the hell happened? Because
you know what? You don't want to find out. That's what I'm finding out.
Maybe it's mysterious.
No, you don't want to find out. You never want to know.
Yeah.
You just want this to be an open-ended, it could have gone anywhere. Cam and Ben could be working at Starbucks right now.
Gene adventure.
Yeah.
I mean,
I feel cheated.
You do feel cheated, personally.
I do. I don't, see, this is why I have trouble sometimes with TV shows, because I never know what to invest my time in because I never know if they're going to go away or not.
Oh, look, this is a life lesson.
No, it's like these shows that come out and I'll wait 5 episodes and it's like, all right, so everybody's in on this? All right, I'll catch up. I'll backtrack. I'll go on whatever and read it.
But it is like relationships, right? Like any relationship, you got to go all in. Just give it a go. You don't know if it's going to be the one.
I'm still upset that they canceled Love Monkey.
Okay, well, listen.
Yeah, but I'm just I was in on Love Monkey, and they just pulled the plug on me.
And that's why we should all go to therapy.
I know.
Okay.
I know, but it's not fair. It's not fair when they do it.
There's a lot that's not fair, and that, again, therapy.
So would you ever do TV again or no?
Well, Children's Hospital on
No, but I mean like a real, like, where you're like an ABC sitcom, and it's built around you, and you're a district attorney. No, where you have to work 22 episodes a year, and the show revolves around you. And
I sort of enjoy being on the kind of fake television shows.
You know what I mean.
No, it is. It literally is.
Where you come in and out, and you're on your own schedule to some degree.
Yeah,
you know
I don't
I mean?
like that quite as much. I'll be completely frank.
You don't like floating in and out?
No, I don't like the idea of being on, 22 episodes on a huge network where it's like
5 years of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then your life just narrows down into one thing, and I don't know that I could handle that. I want to be a myriad of different characters. I want to write a myriad of different I want to direct a bunch of shit. It's like I want to be able to have a life, or I just don't think.
So you're more likely to be like a one-season cameo on some cool show.
Yeah, or to, like, make movies.
Like you're on Mad Men in the last season.
All
It's
right.
like the new mysterious hippie / stewardess who gets Don's attention on the plane. And
Okay.
Then it's too late. That show's already gone.
Right.
But I mean, you know what I mean?
No, but
like
that was a great
in.
pitch. No, I really appreciate
like 6 episodes, you're in and out.
Yeah, if it's the right show, and if it's the right show, then you get to do 6 episodes. That's kind of cool.
But you'll never be on
like
some
Lake
sitcom.
Bell starring
Lake.
in the
It'll just be called
ABCs.
Lake.
Yeah, just Lake. What, like, and it's Madonna. Just I go by Lake now.
I think you'd be. You definitely have trouble finding love because it seems to be a recurring theme in those sitcoms.
Oh,
you're trouble finding the right
so
guy.
You want me in a sitcom? You don't want me in like a 1 hour kind of
you're thinking drama
or drama? I don't know. Maybe it's like
you're a. Oh, this is interesting. Like you're a lawyer.
Maybe I'm like a detective, but like with a wink in my eye. Like I'm sort of cheeky sometimes.
A detective would be interesting.
Yeah, I mean like a lady detective, like lady
detective.
PI.
Who's the last lady detective show? I'm trying to think.
Thank you.
Isn't that show? I've never seen Castle. But then Castle's always on now right before NBA games start, so I only see the last 5 minutes as I'm waiting for the team. And I'm always like, what happens on this show? It's like a comedy, but they're solving stuff, and seems like...
Don't tell the Castle guys that.
I'm sorry, Castle.
They work
I don't know what happens in that, but I don't know what happens in that show.
Listen, I don't think there's any castles in it. I don't think there's like a moat in that show, Well,
let's talk about the movie.
Okay.
So, $1 Million Arm.
In a world
where you get the script.
Yeah. No, in a world where I got the script, and read it, I remember thinking, "There's no way that this is a true." And then reading the top, and it said it's a true story. I went back to the front, and because John and I both had the same exact reaction.
They're making this up.
Yeah, I didn't think that was real, and then I was like, "This is crazy." But the truth is. That it's a true story, and that part appealed to me. I'd never been a part of something where you could sort of Google and read articles about the very people you were depicting. That's an interesting experience.
Did you meet the lady that you played?
Brenda, yeah. I met her for the first time last night. Yeah, she's
I didn't know she was there. I never saw her.
Yeah.
Miss Brenda.
Tall drink of water.
Wow.
Miss Brenda.
So your first scene, you come and go. The next 3 scenes, well, actually, you had one more scene. Then you're on Skype for 3 scenes in a row.
Know, it's a pain in the ass. I really wanted to be sent to India just for those Skype scenes. I kept rereading it, thinking, isn't there a way that Brenda goes to India?
Maybe he forgot something and she has to fly there and give it to him.
Yeah, can he realize that he loves her earlier?
I don't think you miss much with the Indian scenes other than some oppressive heat. Although it seemed like it was cool to be there.
Just cultural experience.
Well, that part would have been good. Ham lost 20 pounds of water weight.
Yeah, I mean, there's one scene where he's just drenched in water, and I knew he said there was this one point where it was 120 degrees or something, or maybe even more, 127.
I think it was 125.
Yeah, and poor Wardrobe was trying to change him out, change his shirt out, change his shirt out. He was sweating so much. And he just looked at them. He's like, this is what it is.
Yeah.
This is a wet shirt.
That was one of the cool things of the movie for me was I had never really, other than times I've seen India in a movie, it's just cool to see it on the big screen. It's obviously so different than here. I'm just fascinated
shot beautifully.
by it.
I mean, I think, it's
the
shot
music was cool.
Oh, the music was so good.
Yeah.
But I think, what's cool about my character is that, what I really liked about it, Tom McCarthy wrote the script. He's an amazing writer. And I think that, oftentimes the lady character in a sports film can be on the sidelines and kind of be doting or, sort of just incredibly peripheral, whilst Brenda really plays an integral part in this man's emotional journey. And it's sort of a journey that he isn't aware he's on, and she's one of the people who sort of like slaps him in the face and is quite hard on him, frankly, which is nice to see too, to see a stronger female presence calling someone out when they're being an asshole.
Normally in sports movies they're just the wet blanket, but actually in this movie he's kind of the wet blanket, and she's the one you're kind of rooting for him to rooting for her to kind of pull him toward. Yeah, I think the right way.
Because I just don't think what's cool about this protagonist is that he doesn't realize
that he's a jerk.
Yeah, well, he doesn't realize he's on some sort of emotional journey. Yeah. Like, he doesn't realize that until later, and then it sort of hits him like a ton of brick. And it's like he has to kind of be roused from his own doings. So he's brought together this whole experience and this contest, and it's all his brainchild, but he's not aware of what its repercussions are, and so even on himself. So that's what's kind of cool about it. And I think I don't know, there's something kind of universal even about that, because he's not particularly, he's sort of he genuinely is kind of an asshole at the top, and he really has to figure it out.
Right.
Yeah.
What's interesting about your part, because I remember reading this script and just thinking, like, this part could go a bunch of different ways depending on who the actress is. And she's got to have all these different looks. Like, you got to be, like, in your scrubs, half asleep in one scene. You got to be dressed up in another scene. Like, it's just the person has to be very normal. Mm-hmm. And it would, like, there are certain actresses, I feel like, I don't know, you just wouldn't have believed, like, that this person's a doctor. Hollywood will do that sometimes. It'll be like, come on, that's not a doctor.
Yeah, like, come on.
No, not even a supermodel, but I had to believe, like, you were a doctor and that you lived behind him and that you would like this guy.
Right.
Even though he was kind of a jerk.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't like him because he was handsome. You'd actually, like, see something
in him.
But I don't really know how, as an actress, you get to the part where you convince me that I believe in that character, that she would believe in these things.
I think, it's really interesting. Casting in general is something that I'm really interested in, because I think that I like to fantasize classic movies, with different casting or something, or a movie that you just saw, maybe that you feel like, God, I feel like something is wrong there. It's got all these good things in it, but why isn't it working? And oftentimes I think
it's the actor.
It's sort of obvious. It's sort of this big thing. It's like, well, it's obviously not just casting, because it's this, and this, and that. Because I make movies at this point and understand that there's lots of parts in the machine that can go wrong, or an amalgamation of all things going wrong to make a problem. But casting is so incredibly crucial. And I know it sounds obvious, but it's the kind of thing that sometimes, in this town we can get really excited about casting someone who, is the hot ticket right now, or
just pairing together two names just because they're two names.
Like that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, they just like the idea of it, even though they're not quite right for the role, but still those two will be great together. I think that we fall prey to that a bit, and certainly, like, whether they have, Q, which is sort of like what they mean, what their value, the name of their, or what their name value is in different countries and territories, so people just kind of sometimes cast that way because financially they have to. They feel like, and so I felt like the casting in this was really honest, actually.
The first time I read the script, they didn't cast that part yet. And I was reading it, and I was thinking, like, man, this could go either way. Like, this could be in the wrong hands. I just could see this going the wrong way. And then one day they sent an email, and they were like, hey, we got Lake Bell. And I was like, yeah, like, this is great. This will be, like, in my head, it made sense. And I don't think a lot of times that process happens.
Yeah,
with movies.
I think you're right. I think it's.
Well, and then same with the three Indian kids who are fantastic.
So good.
Those are parts that in the wrong hands could have been awful.
But Madhur and Suraj and Pitobash, they so get the joke, but more so they are beautifully emotional actors. So they get the comedy and the heart at the same time. It's really hard to do.
Really hard.
I was always in awe of those guys because it was perfect casting.
It really was.
Yeah, and if you meet the real guys, those guys so sweet and so humbled, even to this day, of where they are and what they have. I think it was. I can't remember if it was Rico and Ash. They were saying that they worked. When they have their peers, that they play with or they practice with, they have to put in 200% when everyone else is putting in 100. You're like, oh, put in 100%. They put in 200. If they're gonna run 10 miles, they're gonna run 20. They have to continue to do that because they haven't been playing baseball since they were 5.
It was not natural.
No, it's not. The 10,000 hours, it goes back to like Malcolm Gladwell, where it's like these guys didn't put in their 10,000 hours. They had to do that in 10 months, and then subsequently keep working on it.
I'm interested to see what happens because I've seen this movie a bunch of times now, and it really does seem like a movie that really would appeal to women. And I wonder
Absolutely.
if that would be – I don't know if this movie is going to work or not from a box office standpoint. I think people are going to really like it, and they're going to eventually find it. And hopefully it happens when it's out.
Hopefully, I think it's so beautiful. I encourage people to see it on the big screen. I
think it's really good, and I think it's a date movie, and it's a movie to take with your kids. I would not advocate for it if I didn't think it was a good movie.
Yeah.
And I wonder in this day and age sometimes I don't get the movie business. Like almost feels like if we had 3D glasses, we'd have a better chance. Like $1 Million Arm, but the pitch is going to come right at your face. Put your glasses on, and then would that give us a better chance?
Yeah. No, I think. Look, here's what I'll say about the lady thing. I don't know ding dong about sports, nor baseball. So sports movies appeal to me when they have a lot of heart and they're well made and well crafted. And this is very much that. And I think the reason that, there's a lot of ladies who like sports movies as well is that if someone is good, if there is an athlete who is profoundly talented, that it is very black and white, right? It is undeniable raw talent. So they're either the fastest or they're not. Simple. There's no gray area. It's raw talent. And that is, it gives you goosebumps to see it. It makes you feel, you feel the surge of energy of someone accomplishing something before your very eyes, and so that is beautiful. And I think, regardless if you know anything about baseball, that feeling is there, and in great sports movies, it's there,
right.
Where you're like, oh goodness, you feel that excitement, which is infectious.
That's what Hoosiers has that. Field of Dreams has that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the best ones are really about the people and not whatever sport they're playing. I really feel like Rocky's probably the best example. That's a love story.
Yeah.
It has boxing in it, but ultimately it's a story about Adrian gets to the ring at the end, and all he wants is to hug Adrian at the end. You know what I mean?
Well, you have Miracle, you have League of Their Own. There are, all different types and genres. And
League of Their Own's about sisters.
Absolutely.
It's really about this sister rivalry. It takes place with baseball. It's about baseball, but it's really not. It's about these two girls.
And I feel like this movie, you have a massive amount of access to the emotional trajectories of these people. It's not, it's not like, you need to know sports stuff.
I know. I'm frustrated because the movie's good, and it just makes me, I watch it and I think wow, there's really a world where people might not see this. I don't know how it's going to play out, but I would just think if you make a good movie that appeals to families, I would just be like, well, why wouldn't families go see this? And it's well, you never know with the movie business. Well, why don't we know? That's weird.
We don't know because it's just fickle. It's
it's can't we figure this out? If it's a good movie, it's a good movie. Shouldn't people come to it?
There's a lot of we have to figure out in the world.
I know.
You know what I mean, I think at the end of the day, movie business is like, it's all bonus, right? It's just cool, fun stuff. That's when I make movies, I'm just like, I hope we all have a good time while we're making it. Because at the end of the day, we're not curing cancer, you know. Yeah. Exactly. We just want to make sure everybody's got good bottled water.
Right.
And you know, and smiling and having a good time. So at the end of the day, you know, the movie is great, and whether people discover it or not is magic. You know, I think it comes.
What's it like when you're at a red carpet and all of a sudden your face is on the 50-foot screen and you haven't seen the movie yet and you're like, hey, there I am. I mean, do you ever get over that feeling?
Yeah, I think you get sort of. You
feel like you're watching somebody else?
I think, yeah, I sort of can feel very objective about it. Yeah, and I think that's why I could direct myself in my movie. I never felt squeamish about seeing, you know, like, ooh, that's me up there.
Yeah, that's a bad angle.
Like,
get that out.
No, I don't. I mean, I know when there's a bad angle. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I think in life you have bad angles. You know, and when you cry, you look ugly, and when you laugh, sometimes you look ugly. You know, so you know, when you're creating something, a character that's a living, breathing, moving thing, it's gonna look ugly sometimes. You know what I mean? And I'm not afraid of that.
Right.
But yeah, I think, you know, you can't really be self-conscious about it. But I'm lucky that I don't get squeamish about seeing it.
So you're watching it and you're just watching the movie and there's this person in it that just happens to look like you. But you're able to concentrate on everything about the movie.
Yeah. And I think about it more, I think I get more excited and kind of little girly when in the beginning of a movie when there's the kind of you know, the logo for the studio or the logo for something, the beginning of a movie always makes me feel, that's when I can look around and sort of experience being in a cinema. You know, like I'm in the movie theater, you know, and then it's, you know, whether it's Disney logo or, you know, 20th Century Fox, you know, that sort of dun, 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 you know, whatever that little like header is, that is always the moment that, you know, I just take a breath. Even at Sundance, when my movie started, the premiere of my movie, First Time in a World Played, they had the little Sundance header, and it was just, I don't know, it's the one moment that I don't have to quite think about the film yet. It's just it's that concept of, oh my gosh, you know,
this is happening.
Yeah. I'm living my dream. You know, it's that one little moment.
When you made that movie, what was the reaction? Was it like, oh, cool, Lake Bell's making a movie? Or was it like, Lake Bell's making a movie? Like, what did people feel like in the business?
I think it was a mix. I mean, I had made a short film. So the short film I wrote and directed a short film that I didn't star in. And I brought it when it was in competition in Sundance and did really well and went to different festivals. So that was sort of my icebreaker into the Lake Bell's making movies.
Your entry.
Yeah, exactly. And then I did some other short form things and Children's Hospital, this show, I don't keep talking about it. But I direct those too now, so that's fun, to do. So
do you feel like in 2014 it's an advantage to be a female director? Or are people still a little wary?
I don't think it's an advantage to be a female.
Is it a disadvantage? Because it doesn't seem like there's a ton of female directors.
Well, it might seem that way, but there was only sort of, I think, 15 films in total last year that were made in total films like that were female directors. It's actually there is a dearth of it, and I'm not a massive preacher of.
Yeah, I'm not asking you to.
Yeah, and I don't. I mean, I love, you know, I'm part of Women in Film, and I love women who make movies. But more as community, you know, so it's just like-minded folks.
Because I was talking about Lena Dunham about how there were no female showrunners, and it's basically the same female showrunners, female directors. Like there's just not a lot of either for whatever reason.
The biggest surprise I have with that is that if you're a business person, right, and you're in this business and you're thinking of it that way, the majority, I think the majority of people who purchase tickets, who say, honey, we're going to go see this weekend, the people who are the decision makers and who's purchasing tickets are women. I mean, you know, so in the household, there's men and there's women, you know, or there's, you know, a myriad of other different kind of families.
More combinations.
But ladies in general are very proactive about purchasing tickets. They purchase a lot of things, you know. And, you know, they're more inclined, I think, to go online and go and reserve seats and go and, you know, and they're very active moviegoers. So in a way, I always find it strange that studios weren't more inclined to kind of get more female-driven content, but also content creators, you know, out
also,
there.
female writer-directors are more likely, I would say, to write really interesting, nuanced female parts, which we don't have enough of either.
True, and therefore it might. I mean, I will say this. I think there's talent everywhere. And I think making movies is hard regardless if you're a man or a woman. So especially an independent film. So I always say, if you're trying to make a movie, an independent movie, and you're a first timer, for instance, or not even, if you just trying to make an independent film, you know, that will be, you will be met with obstacles whether you are a man or a woman. So you might be met with a few more just because people might say, you know, I don't. You know, female-driven stuff, you know, it's a little limited. Whilst I just think that part is false. I think it's actually, I think that the people who go and see, I mean, certainly in independent films, I might venture to say that there are more ladies who might go to an art house film than dudes.
Because sometimes there will be Oscar years where they can barely get 5 Best Actress nominations, you know?
Yeah.
Last year wasn't the case. They had 5, but, like, it always seems like they're just more great male parts than female parts, which I think is strange.
Well, I thought it was weird too. Actually, Indie Spirits this year, there was 5 nominated ladies and 6 nominated men for Best Actor and Actress.
Really? There was less?
Yeah, there was less. And
that's weird.
Kate Blanchett won. And
now that's an example of a really great, interesting part.
Beautiful.
Right?
Yeah.
Like a one-of-a-kind type thing.
All good.
Written by a man. Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, I think, you know, sometimes I think maybe ladies, because they have been successful for less time, are less inclined to direct a studio picture because there are so many. Obviously, there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen. Naturally, it's a huge investment. So it's just with more money, there are more mouths to sort of dictate what needs to happen.
Yeah.
And more people to get through, which makes sense with any sort of investment. But when it becomes that big, that women are more interested in making smaller movies where they can dictate their vision a little more clear because they've had less time to succeed and be in that position, if that makes sense.
No, it totally makes sense.
While for men it is a bit easier, right? So, you know, to make a picture and, you know, with the studio and then make one over here. I mean, it feels somehow easier or something.
What movie that somebody wrote?
Appealing.
What movie that somebody wrote and directed are you the most jealous of?
Oh, I don't like to dig on jealousy. Come on.
No, that you just was like, oh man,
Do I sweat?
No, that you wish you would. You just watch and you're like, oh, I wish that's a great one. I mean, I would have loved to have done that one.
As an actor or a writer-director?
Because what would be the more interesting answer?
Well, I think the film that I am most influenced by.
That's a good question. A good rehash of my question.
Okay. The film I have, you know, a handful of films, not just one, but the one that comes to mind is always King of Comedy.
Really?
Yeah, that's the one.
See, I knew we'd get somewhere with that question. I just didn't ask it right.
It's all good. You're like, jealousy. I'm like,
well, you know what I mean.
Inspiration. You know?
Inspiration. That's a good one.
No, that one is definitely it is the cut.
As a writer, I get jealous of other people's pieces. I'll read a piece, I'll be like, man, I wish I had written that. I
don't have the like, oh, I wish I've written that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's more like, I'm inspired by that.
I want to go right now that I've seen that.
Oh.
Yeah.
So King of Comedy.
King of Comedy. Yeah. Oh my God. And the performances.
That's like the Lost De Niro movie.
It's the best.
It's never on. I don't even remember the last time I've seen it on one of my 900 cable channels.
Oh, it's so damn good. It's such a great re-see. If you haven't seen it have you not seen it in a bit?
It's never on. I haven't probably seen it in 10 years.
What's great is that you'll get to like watch it again and be like, oh, why am I plugging the of this movie? But anyway, the point is, it's great.
Anything else?
Well, I like Paul Mazursky, so it's like I like Bob and Carol and Ted and Alice, and you know, I Love You, Alice B. Toklas, and I like early Milos Forman, like Fireman's Ball and things like that. But I think Woody Allen is naturally somebody that I lean to as well, because I grew up watching Woody Allen and I'm from New York, and
you seem like you could have played a natural Woody Allen character in one of his movies at some point in his life.
Listen,
you're available if Woody's watching for some reason. You're available.
I mean, look, it's emotional. I love him so much. I have such great respect for his writing and his direction. I mean, and also his performing. I think he's just, I mean, as a creative entity, he is incredibly unique, and he's just continues to churn out amazing content.
Well, he might be an alien, because I don't understand how somebody can write.
Direct
a movie every year, almost like Louis C.K.'s like this too, where it's like he writes a new hour of comedy just every year, like he's making a car or something.
Yeah, I know. I don't
understand.
I do admire how prolific he is.
The consistency is incredible.
Yeah,
like Woody Allen's just like every year I'm writing and directing a movie for 45
But that's
years.
why he's utterly unique. I mean, there's just no one like that.
He never said, I'm going to take 4 years off. I'm going to go here for 4 years and play blackjack.
I mean, it took me like 2.5 years to write in the world. I'm writing another picture that has already taken 3 years. And then, so it's one of, and it's not ready. So.
Is it about what happens to Cam and Ben? It's not, I bet.
No, it's not.
Damn it. We're never going to find out.
Listen.
We're just never going to find
out.
out.
There are blogs.
I'm doing this for Jacoby. Jacoby cares even more than I do.
Jacoby's a good name, isn't it?
It's his last name, which makes it even better.
What's his first name?
Dave Jacoby.
Oh, okay. So he rocks the Jacoby.
He hosts the Jalen and Jacoby podcast on Grail Network, which you don't, because you don't follow basketball or sports or anything.
I played varsity volleyball in high school.
That does not surprise me. I can see it.
Really?
Were you a setter or a hitter?
Because we moved around. So, yeah, I did.
But everybody has a specialty.
I liked hitting. Yeah. I liked
some height. I'm not surprised. Yeah.
Down. Yeah.
What was your favorite Woody movie? You never told me.
What?
Your favorite Woody movie?
I like Hannah and Her Sisters.
All right.
Yeah. But you were like,
No, I'm mad that I didn't guess that.
Oh, really? Well,
honestly, I'm a darker human being in general. My favorite is Crimes and Misdemeanors.
I love that. I mean, Husbands and Wives.
That got a little too close to home in that one, because that came out right after all this stuff was happening, and as you watch it, you're thinking about how much whatever was going on in his real life affected that. I can't handle that when I think the real life intervenes too much.
Look, that's personal.
I'm a weirdo. What do you want from me?
Nothing. But I do want to say, why? What's your favorite? Do you like Crimes and Misdemeanors?
I think that's my favorite.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, Hannah and Her Sisters. Have you seen that lately?
Not lately.
Holy dang dong.
It's a good one.
Yeah. I mean,
it's had a lot of good ones.
Yeah, you got such a fun night of watching movies. I'm like, Hannah and Her Sisters, King of Comedy.
Kimmel is the all-time Woody Allen fan.
Sorry?
Jimmy Kimmel.
Oh, great.
You bring that up just as an icebreaker if he seems a little tense tonight doing his 2100 show or whatever it is, and for some reason he's nervous. Just like, hey, Woody Allen.
Yeah. Woody Allen.
Hate that guy. All right, so the movie comes out May 16th.
May 16th.
Friday, $1 Million Arm.
$1 Million
You're in it with John Hamm.
When will this be on?
Before that.
Okay.
Before that, and well before your child comes out.
Yeah,
the world.
I hope. Yes. Jeez. No, the movie comes out May 16th. You guys are gonna get a ticket. It's gonna be really relaxed. Probably a lot of ladies.
Tell the ladies to go see it.
Ladies are gonna go see it.
Can the ladies go? They can go with their friends, right?
Yeah.
Just go with your friends. Take two friends.
Take two gal
You'll fall in love with Ham. You'll love the kids.
Everybody
You'll
loves
identify with
Brenda.
Miss Brenda. It'll be great.
Miss Brenda. Yeah, I get to wear a sari. Come on, sorry. But
and remember, America, if this movie does really well, it increases the chances for How to Make It in America season 3. At least like 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Just to wrap it up.
I mean,
just to know what happened.
America, I don't think that's gonna happen.
Damn it.
But America, I'm glad you're listening.
Thank you, Lakeville.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
40% off. Whoa.
Thank you for downloading the BS Report with Bill Simmons.
Too much fun.
Check out more podcasts at the iTunes Music Store or at Podcenter at ESPNradio.com.
Peace out.
Geico presents Strange Savings Stories. Astronomers detected an interstellar transmission. It stated, Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more. The implications were staggering. Was the cosmos telling us we could all save hundreds on car insurance with Geico? Or did their radar merely pick up a signal from the nearby Rufus and Clyde's morning show? We may never know.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.